doing some more work on the BF. I took that off the boot that I got, and what I'm deciding to do is just spray that up and a little bit behind here, and then I'm just going to give it a cut and polish. So it looks a little bit different with the spoiler on the back, another additive. But what I'm doing today is taking the upper control arms on the rear of the BF dedicated gas car. Sorry, it just cut out. Good that I took the upper control arms off the XR6 FG, because look at these, full splits. So you can see how much wear and tear and damage they've endured. That's all I'm doing, is just the top ones, and happy with the progress that I've done. So I'm gonna rip these off now. When I was saying, when I was doing the Viv car, scam car really, with those silly Vivs on them, the petrol tank and the LPG system is very different. So if you look in there, you can get to the bolts. There's nothing in the way of them. So that's a big difference between the petrol tank, that's real close. So this is the difference. So you can get to these upper control arms easier and remove them. So yeah, they're pretty bad. One second. And these are the arms I saved off the FG when I had them put in when they were at the mechanics. So these are brand new bushes installed, so I'll put those on, be back. Just stuck it next to it. As you can see, the difference between really bad to a new one that was installed for the FG. As far as I know, they're pretty much exactly the same, so you shouldn't have an issue swapping them over. Okay, so looking at these two bolts, I've used a breaker bar just on an old ratchet. So that's 18mm this side, and this one is a 15. So I just pretty much use the breaker bar on this side. Oh, you get to go on. Yep. And so you can see it's turning without me on that side, so I've got to put another ratchet on that side, and I'll take that bolt out. Be back. Okay, I've just done like an extension. It's sort of sitting up on this lump. I've seen people take these brake calipers off to do it. You could alternatively do a ring spanner 15mm, because once you get this cracked, all you have to do is hold this in place. So if I don't have to take off that brake caliper, I'm not going to do it. So the less work you have to do on changing parts, the better, I find, because then you can save your energy for what really needs doing, rather than doing triple the work. So as you can see, you just again put it on, stop the other one moving. 1 second. Go there. And it'll turn. Sorry about the bouncing, that's one-handed camera. Yeah. And you can do it, and that'll take that. So it's already coming off, so I'll just get that done, get that bolt out of there. As you can see, brake caliper still on, and this bolt. So I'll just stick this on for a second. There we are. Just give it a tap out. Mainly put a nut on the front so you don't damage your thread. Back soon. Now I can see why they take that brake caliper off, because this bolt hits it. So what I've done, just take the top one right out, and the other one is just partly out. So I can just I can move this a little bit just so you get that clearance for that bolt. So that's all. Don't have to take this right off. That'll come out in a second. As you can see, I just brought the bolt to there. I tapped it out just with a small little one, just to bang on the very tip of the bolt, and then popped it straight out. So yeah, these are, look at that for movement. Probably the originals. Don't look like it ever been used, like changed. Far out. Bloop, 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 bloop. There's a lot of roll in the body too. Before, when I was driving it home. Far out. Alright, take that off. Oh, we're still gonna obviously do the top ones, those two, and then we can rip that out. Okay, so what I'm using, I'll put it in on the screen what the equivalent is, but that's 7/16, and that's an 18mm socket, which I've got my ratchet there with just a half short bar. So I'm just, because it can't go anywhere, the ring spanner, I can just pretty much leave it there, and then just, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it tightens up as it, so it holds itself with tightening. So when I pull it up, it goes stuck onto that edge there. As I turn the socket, I mean ratchet, sorry. So it's nearly off, I think. Yeah, it's a big thick one down there. Come on, girl. Yeah, they're a bit awkward to get to, but I try not to lie under the whole car body whenever it's possible. There it goes, it's starting to get a lot looser now. Yeah, so again, I'll put the equivalent of the 7/16 ring spanner. There it goes. Oops. Okay, tension's off it definitely. Come on, you off? There she goes, and bolt out. So that's the inner one. Alright, that was a bit of a mungle, but maybe it's probably best taking off that bolt before you do this one. But then again, I use this to leverage up just a belt and crack it. Use the bottom of this just to, so the ratchet was here just with a short, just the socket itself, and then I just used this to push it up, bolt it up. So anyway, that's off, so I'll get those out now. So I got that out, so as you can see, that's stuffed. That's really unroadworthy for sure. So as you can see with the FG and the BF, so if you put these on the side of each other and go this way, let's go the other way. Exactly the same. So FG, BF, I'd say BA as well. They're interchangeable. I'm going to put the other one arm in and see how we go. Even for bolt hole size. Yep, perfect. Perfecto. They both fit well. Obviously that's the different one. That's at the back. That's the front one. Is it the front one? No, sorry. That's the back one, or the one closer to the tail shaft. So, look. Perfect. Very good. Alright, I'll get that one in. 1 sec. Okay. Where are we? Let me turn on the torch. Okay, she's all in. not too bad a job, a bit of a pain in the neck, but look at that, nice and new. So that would have had a lot of movement when it was riding along. I felt that movement when I was driving, so it's definitely essential to have these in good order. Anyway, get on to the other side. Okay, so now on the right side, I can't really see, they don't look like the other side. It doesn't look like there's any brakes. I'm still replacing them, but what I've decided to do is leave the bolt in this one. Well, I see I've got the trusty ratchet again over there, and the 7/16 up there, which again I'll put on in the window so you can see the alternative. So I've left the bolt in there just for now while I loosen that one off. So this one, so the arm's not rocking up and down. See how we go that way. I'm still loosening. Check this bump stop. I just try to uncap it a little bit, or unscrew it a bit, and the thing just fell to bits. So these are very necessary from hitting metal to metal, and it is stuffed. You know, when I was driving at home, it was banging, like I was thinking something's going on in the back part for sure. So it'll need a couple bump stops. Okay, so I've got the one off the FG in, just got to tighten up the bolts. So this one, off it definitely didn't have the tears in it. I don't know what they deem exactly as roadworthy, but I think once they have too much play inside there, there's a fair bit of play just with my hands. But I know that the bushes in the control arms have been redone on that one, so yeah, that'll be going to scrap. Now where I sit this 7/16 ring spanner is one loop between the second loop from the bottom. So I just stick it in there, if you can see that, and that sits up on there, and I don't have to touch it. I just tighten it from that right side, which I can easily get that size the socket for that, and just like a medium half bar, and that'll go in right from that back area all the way into there, so it easily gets there. Then I'll tighten it up. I've already tightened this one up. Did the same thing, just took one bolt off the brake caliper and then one just so where are we? Somewhere behind there, and just loosened it off just so I could move that. All I had to do, I have to take the whole thing off, just bring it out just a little bit so you can get that bolt out on that corner. So I'll tighten that up now. Okay, for this BF, this is the other side. So what I've decided to do, because I got the FG cradle just there, I'll just throw the two off that and then just get another two for that cradle. Save some time. Cool, put those on. Okay, another successful job on the I was going to say FG, it's because I was thinking of the wheels, the BF on upper control arms. Yeah, so again, that's the spoiler that's going to be painted, and I'll do a small video on that as well. But for today, we are done. Doing a bit of cosmetic work on the LBF. There was a bit of sort of like bubbly sort of paint, so I've sanded these down to feathered out with 600 grit. And on the back of this spoiler, they had some of the plastic was pretty brittle and stuff like that, so I've fiberglassed under this body filler and strengthen it up. It just needs to be sanded, and same with this side. There was like a key scratch along here that I've started to finally repair, And on this roof there was a bit of bubbly stuff there, and if I walk around just up on this edge of furthered out with 600 wet and dry. And I think that was it as far as I know. Also this the petrol cap was sticking and a bit hard, so I put some W40 in there, and on the actual lid itself where that was really stiff, I couldn't even move that before, so I've let that soak a lot on WD-40, and that's moving a lot more better now. So I'm going to sand these flush and just get that organised. Be back. The reason why I started to fix the boot, I'm not using the silver one and that they came off, because there was like 1,000 holes in it that they had put screws coming upwards, and that's what broke a lot of the plastic. So I'm not using this boot at all. There's multiple holes in where the spoiler was. So what I'm going to have to do is, I did one hole and one hole on the other side. No holes here yet. This is the lip on the bonnet spoiler, which I took off. So it's got these break easy. See, I've got to repair that, and there's one missing on this side. But it had a lot of, if you look close, it's smooth, but you can see where the lacquer or clear coat has been, but it is feathered out. Probably needs a little bit more, but it's still a work in progress. So yeah, just got that sanded down with 80 grit from one of those sort of square looking sanders, and they're not orbital. They might be called orbital. Anyway, one of just the vibrating square sanders. This black stuff is just some of the old spongy stuff, but main thing is this was all broken plastic here, and she's strong as a rock now, probably stronger than it came out. And this is where the wire comes out, where I've got to extend, because this one obviously didn't have a rear spoiler, so it wouldn't have the wiring in it, so I've got to extend that wiring. But that's come up pretty well. So this is the light at the rear, obviously looking from upside down view, but this is all going to be sanded down with wet and dry 600 grit now. That feels pretty good repair. So like I was saying, so this is the single hole, and there's a black texture mark that I put, but that wasn't it. But if you look underneath, I'll show you a bit later, there's a hole, or the spot where they can be drilled. So and there's the other hole. I just put some tape on the other side just in case any sort of weather gets in. So now it's just a matter of now getting that more prepared for primer. So yep, next. Now I was just looking at to remove this. If you look here, there's like a small edge. I've got them on both. Right there. I don't know how good that's focusing. But if you get even a nail, let's try this one first. Yeah, look. And you get a screw. Let's see you pop those out. Let's try that again. There we go. There's your screw. So what I'm going to do, because how hard would it be to get that wire back up that hole? So I'll have to, when I extend this wire, I'll have to stick something in there, coming out there, and then to yank it through back out to the hole. But when I do that, I'll put it on film. Alright, let's get that out. So if we get the old trusty battery drill. With a bit of magnetic always helps. This will. Here's the other screw. Don't want to lose that. I'll get the magnetic side. Alright, go there. Oh, it's got a little rubber thing behind it too. Oh, the rubber thing's still in this one. Sitting in there. Oh, where am I? There. So, pop that out. Alright, back. Okay, so now it's the Wet and Dry 600 grit with a bit of water. I pretty much just want to take off the shiny part of it before I apply any sort of primer. And where you obviously no damages or no fixing up is, it's pretty much a straightforward process. It's around here you want to just make sure everything's feathered and up to scratch. So got a fair bit to do, but we will get there. That's all now sanded down with 600 grit, Wet and Dry. I'm not going to wash this down with water. I'm just going to go straight to the wax and grease remover because I just don't want any excess water that doesn't need to be in here, because it's got holes with the wiring and all that where the light came. Try to do minimal water around it. So I'm going to just do a wipe over with a microfiber cloth with the wax and grease remover and see if there's any other shiny bits left to do on this spoiler. Now I've just gone over it with the wax and grease remover. Now you can see, I hope you can see, it's sort of like a dull silver now, and you can see, hopefully you can see, it's a lot more shiny in this edge, so you can really literally see where there's shiny bits there I've missed, but for the most part it's pretty good. There's a couple bits here, a couple bits there, check all on this side. Now if I flip it over, because I have done it on that side as well, minus a bit of, because it's getting a bit dirty while it's on the surface I've been working on. Just let that dry off again. It's looking good. Yeah, see, there's some shiny, you can see some shiny metallic bits. So I am going to give it another once over with the 600 grit, Wet and Dry. Be back. Okay, so I've got this part of the bonnet, sort of like a garnish, I guess they are called a garnish, bonnet garnish. They're a pain in the neck because they hold a lot of dirt behind them. If you look here, one sec, now at the front of the bonnet, all the stuff that holds behind it, that's why the bonnets rust. So yeah, that's that. So I've taped up where they had a key mark across here. Got that boot, sorry, the top of the roof just there, along here, all nice and taped up. Just want to get some primer on there. Get up on this edge, just there, and I've got that just sitting there. For primer I'm just going to do one side then the other and let it dry. So when I do both sides of the primer, I'll put it somewhere where it's hooked up and I can do the top coat all in one go. So I'm just going to wax and grease remove everything again, tack rag it, and get into the priming. This is on the priming on the top now. It's come up really well. So I'm going to give that some good drying time. Now this is, I've just taken the paper off. I don't like leaving the paper in the sticky tape too long, because once it hits the sun, it can be really hard to take off. But this is what's so far. There's the garnish. and the side panel where the scratch was. And the roof one. So just going to give that drying time now. So we've just started the 600 wet and dry. You can see that's what you want to make sure that you get down to the shadow, the feathering side of the paint from being perfectly square and outlined. Not that I'm no paint expert, but it's coming along well. Just want to feather these edges. I'll put a little bit of guide coat on it, just to give you some sort of idea of where to come down to. And that's very nice. Just a little bit more there. So the good old, where is it? 600. There's an upside down 600 for you. 600 with a nice soft block. And that's where a lot of the issue paint was around there, so it's good. So next is that little bit of side part here. So you can see the square lines. You can see it doesn't take much for 600. See the cut through? So you just want to be a bit gentle. Just feather off. So you can see the guide coat, the blackish stuff there. That gives you an idea just how much to take it down. That's why it's called a guide. It's not perfect, but it's a good guide. And I learnt an interesting fact before that supposedly females can see more shades than men. Let's go again. And you can see it's just blending. That's all you're trying to do, is so there's no, it's not lumpy or got an edge. We'll be back. I've applied the base coat only. It's come up pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. You got the side one and the roof. So I'm going to leave that for an hour, and then I'm going to apply the clear gloss. And then there's this one. Not a bad colour match. I mean, that's got gloss, obviously you can see the shine to the more of a dull. But for the most part, it's pretty good. If you look at, not the XR6 differential, there's the garnish. And then we've got the silver back boot spoiler now base coated. Now, because this is not a complete paint job of the whole car, I'm not going to be too fussed, but it will do what I want it to do, and that is look a bit more decent than when I got it. So we're now. Okay, so done the base coat. Look at the edge, look how well that's matched. So that top section, as you saw before, and that to the panel, what a match. Now when I go over here, you can see how dull the original paint is to having clear on it, but for the most part it is really a good match. And I'm no painter, so this is just DIY backyard job. Pretty good. Now I should have had one more can, but anyway, it's got a little bit of gave it a real thick coat, but don't want to make it perfect because I haven't painted the whole car, so I want to look a bit like it's an original piece being a bit faded. But pretty happy with that result. It'll look good. So yeah, next we'll be giving it a wet and dry of 2000. Forgot that little piece there and the roof one. So the whole car needs a good cut and polish next. I gave her a cut and polish. Look how shiny it is. She's a bit also dirty with polishing stuff. But what I was talking about in here would be probably that hole as far as boot spoiler holes go. They got one on either side, so I'd say that's most likely, if it hasn't had a spoiler on it, that's where it looks like I'm going to be drilling. Back in a sec. Okay, so with the red backlight for that boot, I've just stripped the wires. I only got 2 wires in there. Most likely the black is the negative, and this greeny, so it's green and white maybe. Looks like a green with a white tracer. Yeah. Trying to focus in on my fingers again. Let me take my fingers out the way. Not gonna focus? You gonna focus? Not gonna focus. Yeah. Anyway. Green, no, it could be a yellow tracer actually. Anyway, positive, negative. Got to extend these so I can run them through the boot. Okay, so just soldered a red onto the green instead, and black on black. So now I've just got to tape it up and start feeding it through. So with this bit of mucking around, got that wire through and the LED light at the back. So next is getting ready for placement.